if a bank had have been raided and had have been stolen from, and $38 million had been taken, and every one of the depositors had been told, sorry, you're getting nothing back, it's your money. And if the police force had have said to you, we can't really find these people and we're not going to bother anymore, but we'll give the job to tracking down these criminals to a firm of accountants, I'd suggest that there would be a public uproar. But under the powers that ASIC have, they have the power to compel anyone in this country under their jurisdiction to provide information which is heard under oath, which is heard in camera, in secret, and the person examined has the right to claim privilege on the information which is given to ASIC under the investigation under Section 19 of the Act. Privilege means that the information that's given to ASIC cannot be used against that person in a criminal prosecution. Well, in 2009, there was an investigation of an individual called Sean Richard. Sean Richard was the Chief Executive Officer of the AUSTRAC Strategic Fund, ASF, the hedge fund that all of you had money in. And Sean Richard gave that much evidence to ASIC. He was re-examined in May 2010. This information has been kept confidential. I'll use my words deliberately. It has been deliberately suppressed by ASIC before the Joint Parliamentary Committee. I received them from a source which I won't reveal. You deserve to know what's in these documents. There was a mechanism whereby ASIC could make this material, in summary, available to you through the Australian Parliament. It was a Joint Parliamentary Committee. I sat there while the chairman of ASIC gave his evidence. His evidence in no way tallies with what's in here. Metcalfe gave the impression they didn't really know. No one who reads this could possibly not come away with the conclusion that Trio Capital was a criminal vehicle deliberately constructed by an international criminal organisation to steal over $150 million of Australians' savings. You couldn't come to any other conclusion. Not only that, Sean Richard, who gives this information in his examination in 2009, is very confident. He gives a number of replies to cover the crime. By 2010, the middle of 2010, Sean Richard is willing to give information on everyone. He's pleading for a reduced sentence, which he got. part of the reason that he got 3.5 years for a crime of a theft of $168 million was that in our criminal justice system, you get what's called a sentencing discount. If you divulge information early and plead guilty early to charges. Well, he did that and more. He gave them information they didn't want to hear. He gave them information they didn't follow up. Robbing a bank, we can say, well, that's a serious crime. But the depositors of the bank don't lose their money. Robbing superannuants, especially self-managed superannuants under this appallingly weak regulatory system, you've already been told by the minister. What was the words he used? He was swimming outside the flags. So he robbed, knowingly, people's savings and their retirements. The most serious financial crime, I would suggest, that can be perpetrated against Australia, and got 3.5 years. He admitted to stealing, let's call it by its simple term, $24.6 million of your money. And he told them how he did it. It was taken from a fund called the Exploration Fund. Metcalfe didn't pass that information on to the Australian Parliament. The question we've got to ask at the end of this meeting is why? In his evidence before the Joint Parliamentary Committee, he very carefully referred to the trio collapse. Don't ever allow anyone, be a police officer, a member of ASIC, a politician, to ever again use the word collapse. It implies that somehow something went wrong financially in the marketplace. He deliberately did not use the word the trio crime. Trio didn't collapse. Trio did exactly what it was designed to do. It was designed to defeat the Australian regulatory system, and it did, very, very successfully. The way it did it was it complied with every requirement of the Australian regulatory system. You know who owned Trio? Does anyone know the owners of Trio? We've been through a joint parliamentary committee. We've been through, apparently, now, 3 years of investigation by Australia's finest, smartest financial regulators and investigators. To this day, I would suggest, the people who had their money stolen still haven't been told in clear, precise terms that you would expect of a police officer the names of the people who stole your money. And the names are here. They're not a secret. It's not hard to work out when you know how they did it. These people weren't particularly smart. The question is, were these people brilliant, or are our regulators not particularly clever?